Hey guys, what's up? Natalie Newhart here, and we are back. I wanted to just take another video to go over metabolic damage, based off the last one that I made for you guys, because I do see it as a very common problem that most people don't know about, and there's a very easy fix to it. So, first of all, I just want to start off by saying I don't really like the term metabolic damage because it's not like a permanent damage. It is reversible in the fact that if you reverse diet properly, your metabolism will restore to an optimal level if done right. So I prefer the word metabolic adaptation rather than metabolic damage. So just know that if you think that you might actually have metabolic damage if you've been in this low calorie type of diet and excessive exercise and not able to lose any weight. Just know that it is reversible. Just probably want to seek out the right coach and take the time to perform the proper steps to restore your metabolism. Okay, so real quick, I just want to go over again what is metabolic capacity. Because that's basically what you need is a good metabolic capacity in order to prevent metabolic adaptation from happening. So if you have two people, let's say twins, that are exactly the same in everything, and one maintains their body weight on 3,000 calories and the other one maintains their body weight on 2,000 calories, which one's going to have a easier time losing weight? It's going to be the one with 3,000 calories, right? That's because we have more wiggle room to play around with, cutting calories, increasing cardio, because we all hit plateaus. We hit plateaus every 3 to 6 weeks. It's not a matter of if it'll happen, it's more of a matter of when. So when you have a bigger cushion with 3,000 calories versus 2,000, then you have more to play around with. And in the end, you won't be at such an extreme low calorie. Instead, maybe they're losing weight on 2,000, whereas the other twin is down to 1,000. So that's what I mean as far as building up your metabolic capacity and the importance of it, because that way we don't find ourselves in such an extreme low calorie deficit, which when you're in that position, that's when all those adaptations that we're going to go over occur, those fat storage adaptations. So I made up a little drawing to help you kind of see basically the side effects of low calorie diets and then what happens when you don't properly reverse diet. So like a regain period, okay? So this is basically like low calorie binge, and what happens, which is really common with people. So see if you guys can see that. Maybe a little bit closer. Oh. Okay. So here in the middle is homeostasis. So our bodies have what's called a body fat set point, meaning that everybody has their own set point of where their body just likes to be, their body fat. Okay, and so when you go above that set point, your body kind of sends out signals to prevent weight gain. And when you go below the set point, your body sends out signals to restore fat. And so that's why it's hard. Like once you get towards a certain leanness, it actually, it gets significantly harder for you to continue to get leaner, because your body is basically a fat storage machine. Just like I said in the last video, it doesn't like to go below or above that set point, and there are all these adaptations that occur when you do try to sway from it. Now, if done right, if done slowly and properly, you can somewhat alter that body fat set point, but it's also it just takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, basically. So here's your homeostasis. So this is where your body likes to be as far as body fat goes. And then on the left side is low calorie diets and exercise. So, you know, we're talking, I don't know, like 1,300 calorie diets, less than that, plus exercise on top of that. So what happens usually is when people diet down is they tend to take extreme measures, right? We all want a quick fix. And so what they do is they'll just slash calories and then increase cardio and think that's going to do the trick. Well, when you do extreme measures like that, you end up, your body ends up going through all these adaptations, including when you diet down, your metabolic rate decreases, okay? Energy efficiency in all areas, including like your just overall energy expenditure. You're able to maximize like the most amount of calories out of each particular food. So you become very efficient in the way that you burn. Like your body wants to make sure it gets all the nutrients from, all the energy from food versus kind of letting it just flush through. Even like brain efficiency, like everything, your body just starts slowing down because it's basically thinking that it's going through a survival mode. And so things just start to slow down, sort of shut down, more or less. Okay, so efficiency is not a good thing when it comes to metabolism or energy, because it just means that everything is slowing down. So that's what happens with low-calorie diets. You also get increased hunger. That's because your fat cells, we have a certain amount of fat cells, and when they decrease, that sends out signals to your body that you're basically going below your set point. And so it's going to send off signals that you're hungry. Decrease oxygen consumption. This is just interesting. I mean, that this is affected. I think the Navy SEALs did a study, or I think when they have to hold their breath underwater, they're actually put on ketogenic low-calorie diets because your oxygen consumption decreases. So that's like another form of just energy efficiency. Okay. Decrease lower thermogenesis. So you don't get, your body temperature doesn't get as high from food. So you get a lower thermogenic effect from food. And then even cardio. So what may cause me to burn 100 calories today on the treadmill, maybe I only burn 70 calories if I was on a low-calorie diet. It's because my body's just trying to be really conservative, so I'm not getting the same effect from the same amount of cardio because of this energy efficiency that's taking place. So pretty crazy that you could put in the same amount of time, the same intensity level, and yet your body's actually not burning the same amount of calories because of this. Decreased thyroid hormone. All this stuff, basically, it all works together. It's pretty impressive in regards to how it's trying to bring you back to homeostasis. And so trying to store fat so that you're at that body fat set point. Okay, so this is obviously going to be more affected when you take more extreme measures. So, you know, if you were trying to lose weight and you just decided to cut your calories cut it in half, something like that is going to, and then like start exercising a bunch, that's going to throw your body off and start like holding on to fat, basically. Okay. Whereas if you just took like went a little bit to the left versus so extreme, so really slow dieting, then your body will be able to adapt to those changes really slowly versus it being such a shock to the system. Okay. And so they will eventually play a role once you get to a certain calorie, but definitely not to certain extremes. Okay. And then also on this side is the regain transition period. So what typically happens is people diet down, and then when they're done with the diet, they gain all the weight back, right? And the thing is, your body is set up to store fat And if you reverse, like if you start eating too quickly, too much too quickly, it's just going to get stored as fat. So you have to really take the right precautions when you're done dieting to reverse diet, to slowly, and I mean like really slowly, add those calories back in. And it is important that you do take diet breaks, okay? So you can't just, I mean, to a point, you can't stay in a low-calorie diet forever, because these things start coming into effect, right? And it makes it increasingly harder for you to continue to lose weight, because, you know, metabolism shuts down, everything gets more efficient. So what you need to do is take diet breaks. And during this diet break, that's when you want to focus on rebuilding your metabolic capacity. You want to optimize your metabolism, so you can eat as many calories as you can and still lose body weight. I mean, that sounds awesome, right? The thing is, people don't usually take the time to do that, or they don't know about it, and so they just continue to cut, or add more cardio, putting them in this metabolic adaptation damage area, okay? So if you do add food in too quickly, too much food too quickly, you're going to increase the chances of fat deposition for sure, okay? You have decreased satiety signals. What happens here is you increase the number of fat cells, or adipose sites, basically, and because you have more adipose sites, it sends off signals to your body that you're hungry. So even if you end up like you're back at your maintenance calories, you'll still feel hungrier than you were before even dieting, if that makes sense, okay? Because you have these new fat cells or adipose sites that are signaling that you're hungry, even though you may be eating plenty of food, okay? And then also decreased ability to dissipate excess fat and increased production of adipocytes, which is what I just said, okay? So these are just kind of some things, again, body's trying to store fat based off the extreme measures that you did over here. So if you went less extreme to the left, then you won't have as extreme adaptations to the right, okay? I mean, that being said, if you're not like just binging, okay? So this is just really important to, you know, of why you want to avoid extreme measures of low calorie binge, that cyclical nature that people tend to get themselves caught up into. And especially with women, because, you know, they'll go on a diet and then let's say they come off the diet and they notice that they're gaining weight. Well, then they want to go back to the low calorie diet and their metabolism isn't restored. And because it's not restored, it's actually just going to, it just becomes a cycle and makes these adaptations more extreme and harder to come out of. It just takes longer time, okay? And that's another thing, is when you diet down for 3 months, chances are you're gonna need to focus on reverse dieting for 3 months, the same amount of time that it took you to diet down, in order to do it properly and avoid these extreme measures, if that makes sense, okay? So the way that you get around this, guys, is through very slow dieting and very slow reverse dieting. So, you know, it's great. I mean, you could do it on your own if you're really good with tracking calories and stuff. Or, you know, a coach, this is where a really great coach comes into play, as long as they know what they're doing, because there's also a lot of people out there that'll just slash your calories and destroy your metabolism if they don't know what they're doing. So definitely want to do your research and make sure they know what they're talking about. Yeah, so during your diet breaks, you know, that's what your goal during those times is, just to build up your metabolic capacity, meaning trying to increase as many calories as you can and still stay at the same weight. So my goal would be to figure out how many calories can I take in and still stay at a body weight of 125. And once I find that point, that's my metabolic capacity. And then once I find that point, I can then start cutting calories. And I have this whole wiggle room to play around with to lose body fat. And if done right, you shouldn't have gained much, if any, body fat if you went slow enough. So that's the thing. That's how you can continue to get the physique that you want, is by very slowly reverse dieting to so slow that you're not gaining body fat because your body's kind of like adapting to this new calorie intake, and then you can start cutting. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Maybe clears some questions. And also, just a real quick thing to note is, maybe you are having a hard time losing weight or something, but that doesn't mean that you have metabolic damage or adaptation. If you're gaining weight on 1,400 calories, that's a good chance you have metabolic damage, okay? Because that is a very low calorie diet, and that's not even maintenance, like levels. So, but if you're at like 2,000 calories or 2,200 calories and gaining weight, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have metabolic damage. It just means that your metabolism kind of sucks. It's just slow. So, just make sure that you don't get caught up in thinking, oh my God, I have metabolic damage, and really it's just your metabolism. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that little knowledge bomb there for you. I am turning into a geek on this stuff. I love it. I study it all the time. And it's really fun to communicate this stuff to you, because I wish I knew a lot of this stuff when I was in CrossFit. And I worked my butt off. I trained so hard for so long, and I never had the physique I wanted. And if I would have just known the stuff I know now, I would have been able to communicate it to everybody, and I would have had the body I wanted. But better late than never. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have not signed up, this is my newsletter. So you guys are already on my newsletter. I also have a YouTube channel if you guys want to find. I don't post all my videos in the newsletter, so if you want more videos, you can find me on YouTube. And that's it. All right, thanks for joining me, guys. Please, if you find this valuable, it helps me out so much if you can like and share it and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and tell your friends and family about this, and get them signed up to the newsletter. It would really help me out. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you later.